Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. Welcome to today's webinar, and thank you to everyone for joining us. We are so excited to have each and every one of you here. Whether you're an existing client of HR for Health, or maybe you're not utilizing our services, but you're interested in learning what the latest is from this new product release for payroll, or you're looking to partner closely with HR for Health to bring these mutually beneficial services to your clients, or you just wanted to come hang out with the HR for Health team today as we go through this content. We are so pumped to have you all here. Our team started on this new initiative on our payroll build right around about a year ago. And it really has been a labor of love during these last 12 months. And so the purpose of today's session is to provide a look behind the curtain for all of you and discuss why HR for Health made this decision to partner with Gusto Embedded Payroll's offering and what it means for you. So we're going to be talking through, first and foremost, why did we make this decision as a business to work for over a year on focusing to improve our clients' experience, and what does that come with when it comes to payroll processing? And we're also going to give you a sneak peek of what the product looks like and what you can expect there. And then we're really excited to share what our current clients have been going through that have been piloting with us for the last few months. What have they liked about the experience? Again, what can you expect? And really learning throughout of what is new for you. And the other benefit of being on a live webinar is you can ask us questions throughout. So at the end, we're going to leave as much time as possible to talk through your questions. Make sure you get the information you need. So please feel free throughout to put your questions into the Q&A box or chat and get those to us. And then if for whatever reason we're not able to get to your question on today's session, maybe it's nuanced just to you or we run out of time, a member of our team will absolutely reach out to you directly to make sure that you get the answer. So please encourage you to put your questions in throughout. And again, whether we get to them today or we reach out to you individually, we will make sure that you get the answer. So if we haven't had the privilege of meeting before, my name is Jill Hasselman. I am the Chief Growth Officer here at HR for Health. So I've been with HR for Health for a little over 11 years now. And throughout my time here, I've had many different roles, everything from ordering coffee and paper towels for our office, to writing employee handbooks for our clients, to supporting our teams on decisions for what this market needs with a product like ours, and so on and so on and so on. And what's really special about today, other than the fact that we are finally able to talk about something we've been working on behind the scenes for an entire year, is that the two people joining me are not just longtime teammates of mine, but also longtime friends of mine. So Kahan is one of our longest tenured employees. He celebrated his 10-year work anniversary with HR for Health earlier this year. And he's an unbelievable account manager and resource for our clients. So he supports clients in all different phases with us, whether they want to utilize our software and services more, or they want to learn about additional services that they might be able to add on, whether they're growing, purchasing more practices, so on and so forth. And then Lauren is another one of our longest tenured employees. She'll be celebrating her 10-year work anniversary with us in just a couple months. And similar to Kahan and I, she's had a journey through this company, being involved in many different departments before settling in as our product manager. So pretty much her entire day is focused around what our clients need, what's their feedback, and how do we build that into our offering. So we've not only grown up together from a professional sense, but we've also gone through a lot of different life phases together, like weddings, having their first children, now their second children. And these two people really have had such an impact on me and our clients' lives, really without you maybe even realizing it. What's also crazy is that this is the first time all three of us have been on a webinar together. So very exciting day. Welcome to Lauren and Kahan. Very excited to get into it today.
Awesome. Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, the common theme, not just across the three of us that are on this webinar, but really for our whole company, is that we are constantly striving and pushing to ensure that our product takes as much of the heavy lifting out of HR administration, while also making sure our clients are protected with these employment laws day in and day out. So it's a tricky little balance that we're always doing, which is what are the laws requiring them to do, and how do we translate that into automating as many things as possible, because our biggest differentiator is that we are a software and service built specifically for the niche industries within healthcare. And that's not something that we just say. That's something built into the fabric of our company and the lens that our team uses as we approach solving problems for our clients. And so our clients might not realize it. Maybe some of you on this call do, but you really are a huge driver for how we decide what to prioritize in terms of the features that we build. And it's really based on client feedback and requests. So the more that the masses are requesting something, the harder we're going to look at what those requirements are and figure out how to implement them, which is what has led us here today. So as many of you know, we have been working in the payroll space for a handful of years prior to this, integrating with service bureaus to make sure payroll was paid. And we have been and continue to be extremely focused in ensuring employees are paid correctly, which is why we've worked so hard to create a bulletproof time clock system, because our industries have unique types of employees. We don't necessarily pay our employees a straight hourly rate or a straight salary. They might be paid percent production, percent collection, per patient, per day, or even a mixture of those things. And so we've spent a lot of time and effort making sure all these types of employees can clock in and out. Overtime calculations are automatically done based on their hourly rate and bonus pay if necessary. Paid time off is accrued and tracking correctly and paid based on all of these nuances of if somebody's paid per day or percent production, plus that the paid time off is streamlined with the policies that are outlined in the handbook. So we're really trying to eliminate all outside spreadsheets, sticky notes, these crazy systems that we know are homegrown. Doing the best you can in these offices, we want to make sure we can eliminate that. And this isn't just necessary for ease of use, but also, heaven forbid, if anyone ever gets audited or questioned and if they were doing things correctly, that can easily be proven from our software. And then we've also built in scheduling rules in the software. And this was driven by our clients telling us their pain points of, I want to see everything in one place when it comes to when my employees are clocking in and out, if there's holidays, if they have time off. I want to know if they're clocking in early or if they're clocking in late. Biggest headache we hear from our clients. And so we've implemented these pieces as a really important foundation for compliance. And not to mention scheduling those meal and rest breaks, which are really important for compliance. And so all of these perks of our system remain, and we continue to build them out as laws change and as we need to adapt to that. But as we started our product planning towards the end of 2023 and going into 2024, our analysis really showed us our clients were starting to want more. They not only wanted better, faster, easier payroll, but they also are starting to want options that are integrating things like health insurance administration, 401k management, things along that line. Because we know practices like yours are working really hard to recruit and retain your team members. And with that comes a need to be a little bit more competitive in the offerings that you're giving to your team, maybe more so than in years prior. But with that also brings making sure things are easy as you incorporate these things into your practice. And really, that's why we made the decision to implement Gusto's embedded payroll. So what this means is really through this collaboration, we have selected Gusto Embedded Payroll to power our payroll services. That allows us to still serve as this trusted all-in-one solution with specialized payroll and HR compliance for health professionals. And then really leveraging Gusto Embedded to complement this with precise tax calculations, streamlined workflows, reliable payroll processing, again, empowering you to reduce that admin that comes and that burden, but without compromising that accuracy. And if you guys are familiar, I'm sure a lot of you are on this call, gusto.com has been serving thousands and thousands of small businesses for years. And so by partnering together, we're able to leverage that force that they have behind payroll by embedding a lot of these features into our software to provide a seamless experience. And that, again, allows our team to be focusing on those specialized features that are tailored specifically to healthcare practices. So in a minute, Lauren's going to dive into this, but just some quick highlights for you are first and foremost, no hidden fees. So this is a common theme across our clients. that's not something they want. I don't think anybody does. But really, again, for our clients, you are busy. Like you can't be worried about always having to check to ensure you're being charged what you think you are. And this is also an important move for us to be able to keep those costs as low as possible for you with, again, not having these hidden ticky tacky fees that might be going on in the background for some other payroll companies you might be working with. On the same note of busyness, we wanted to make sure that the setup was simple, quick, and painless, especially because can be a lot of trauma behind switching payroll services. We realize this. At this point, I've had thousands of conversations with different doctors, office managers across the country, and we realized that you might have had bad service experiences prior. There was a lot of, headache around switching. And so that was a huge focus for our team when building this offering to make it as seamless and easy as possible. Some additional highlights are making sure that it's really easy and quick to process a lot of common occurrences that come up for our clients when it comes to payroll, like final paychecks and easily paying 1099s or, independent contractors. One note I want to make sure to call out here: make sure you are talking with our HR advising team to make sure everyone is correctly classified as an employee versus independent contractor. But once you've done that and you're confident somebody is kosher to be classified as a contractor, payroll's super easy for you. And again, all of this integrates with our existing really great features like timekeeping, paid time off management, paid holidays, payouts, etc., all while making sure you're in compliance with those wage and hour regulations that are really nuanced and can be difficult for our practices to follow. So overall, I hope you guys feel like our team is here for you. This is payroll that's made simple, specifically built for you, and we're really excited to be able to share what this looks like. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Lauren to really dive into the meat of what you can expect with this new product.
Yes, let's check it out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a demo so we can see what this thing actually looks like. If you're like me, you're a visual learner and want to see it in action, just log in. All right, so the first thing you'll do once you sign up with HR for Health and you have a payroll account with us, you'll go into your company onboarding. So I want to start there and really just show how quick it is, because I think this is a very intimidating portion of getting a payroll set up. So I want to make sure everyone can see how simple we've made it. So first, it's very basic information. You'll add in your company address. We already have your main company address, so you're just going to be verifying that that looks good. If you have any additional ones, you would just add them here. The next is the federal tax information. So this is your FEIN, your tax type. So you would select if you're an S Corp or whatever the tax structure is there. Your federal filing form, so either a 941 or 944. If you're like, I have no idea, one of my favorite things about this onboarding is that it gives you resources throughout. There's a lot of payroll jargon out there, and you aren't meant to know what each thing means. So throughout, we'll have resources on where you can find more information. So always look for these little tool tips on how to answer something, because they are throughout the process. And then your legal entity name, just making sure that it matches what's with the IRS so that there's no issues with your tax filings. The next is the bank info. So this is going to be what you are funding your payroll with. There is an integration. This bank account has already been added, but there is an integration through a provider called Plaid, which will verify your bank for you automatically once you add in your banking credentials. So you don't have to wait for a test deposit to come in a few days later. It's going to automatically verify for you. So highly recommend using this. If you'd rather enter it manually, you also have that option. The next is your pay schedule. So pretty basic. Are you paying every other week? Are you doing semi-monthly? Are you doing weekly? All of that information is going to be here so that we can generate your pay periods correctly for you. The next one is the state tax information. So this is going to automatically pre-fill based on the states that you're in. So this account is in California. You'll go ahead and click view and enter in all of your tax information here. I did want to click edit again on this because, again, there's links for finding out like I don't know what my unemployment tax rate is. Where do I find that? It'll link to the resources on where you can find that. So this is all specific to your state and what your state requires. So it'll link you directly to the information that you need and where you can find it. Again, we're not expecting you to be tax experts or be able to find this information automatically. We'll give you the resources there. And then once you add that, you'll go ahead and sign your documents. So the first one is the direct deposit authorization. That's just giving Gusto authorization to pull the funds from your account for payroll. And then the Form 8655 is giving them authorization to process your taxes on your behalf. The next section is previous payroll records. So I know this is probably a very intimidating portion for a lot of people when they're switching payrolls as well. But again, it makes it as simple as possible, entering it all in one place. It'll walk you through everything you need to enter here. I do want to note, if you are an existing HR for Health payroll client, we will handle this for you, so you don't have to worry about that. And then if you're a current gusto.com client, we will have improvements on automating that process for you, so you can skip this whole section and all of your information will migrate over for your payroll processing. And then finally, bank verification. If you decide to enter it manually, this is where you will get the test deposits and enter those amounts in. Again, if you use the Plaid integration, then it's going to already be done for you. And that's it for company setup. It's all in one place. A lot of the information is going to pre-fill that we already have for you. It'll walk you through each step. You have links, so we're virtually holding your hand through the process. And then the next thing I want to go over is for your employees. So they'll have a taxes and bank account section in their payroll, in their menu. They're going to fill out all of their basic information here as well. So the first one is just personal details, basic first name, last name, social security number, date of birth. Then they're going to add in their home address to make sure that they're taxed correctly. Then their federal tax. So this is nice because this is all the fields that will populate into the W-4 form for them. But it makes it easier. It's more bite-sized. It also has, again, all of those resources. So if they're like me and I never know how to enter my withholding forms, they can go directly to the IRS calculator, get tips and how the heck do I fill this out from there. Especially right now with tax season, I know we've all had that, like, oh my gosh, I owe what? And so a lot of people are probably changing their withholdings right now. So it just makes it super simple for them to come in here and change it at any point. So this is for their onboarding, but they can also come back in a month if they want to change their withholding. They can just go straight to this page and it'll update for them. So for those of you that have to deal with paper W-4 forms or whatever your process might be, sending it to your employees when they ask, they can just automatically handle this themselves. So very self-serve for them. State tax, again, it's going to auto-populate based on the state that they're in. So some states have their own withholding forms. That's going to pre-populate for them here. They'll enter in what their withholdings are. Payment method, they can either decide direct deposit or check. If they decide direct deposit, they can split their bank accounts. If they want to do a set amount in one bank account or a set percentage, they can split it however they want to there. And then documents, they'll go ahead and sign their direct deposit authorization if that's the method of payment they've chosen. And then their withholding forms right here, they would just sign off that everything looks good. And again, that's it for your team. So I've heard it's been taking, 2 to 3 minutes for them to do this, especially because a lot of that information we already have for them. So we're pre-populating their address, their name. They're just making sure that it all looks good. So super simple. Again, even for their payment method, if they need to change their bank account or change the structure of how their money is being split, they can come back in here at any time and change it, and it's automatically updated. No action is needed from you as the employer. So those are two of my favorite things about this, is that employees can change their withholdings and their bank account, and you don't have to touch it. They can just go do it, and it's done. So saves them time, saves you time, saves everyone sanity. Okay, awesome. So that's the onboarding process for the company and for the employee. From a high level, I just want to go over a couple of the new pay items that we have that will flow into your payroll report. So this is your benefits. This is where you'll add things like medical insurance, vision, 401k, whatever you might add for your practice. And then you can assign your employees from here as well. So you can assign them, add in what the company contributes, what the employee contributes. All of that information is housed here. And then if you want to, let's say you have a bonus or a reimbursement, all of that is managed in our payouts. So you would just add it for whatever payroll period it needs to show up on. All of that is managed on this page, makes it super simple. And then lastly, time off. So you definitely want to be tracking your time off automatically in HR for Health, and employees need to be adding in their requests. So all of their time off requests you can manage from this page, making sure that you're approving them, changing anything you need. You can view all of this here. Okay, so now we can go into the real meat and potatoes. What do we actually, let's run some payroll. So first of all, this is a test account, so you can see there's lots of things happening in here with us testing. But this one right here, it's gonna automatically create the payroll for you. Based on the pay periods that you've entered, it's gonna create it. So you can see that the pay period here is May 19th to June 1st. You can see that the check date is gonna be on June 6th. And then the due date. So this one we're very proactive on here. So obviously you would never be running payroll 54 days out, but we're overachievers in this demo. So we'll do it 54 days early. But it's nice because it will give you a countdown, and you can see when it's late, it'll also turn red and tell you like, hey, this was due 15 days ago. If you want to, again, you guys wouldn't submit that late, but maybe you're 1 day late and you're like, oh, oops, I need to go run that. So those will automatically be created for you. I also, just from a high level, want to go over, I know Jill mentioned contractor payments. So you can run contractor payments, no problem, in this run contractor payment modal. And then there are also, if you have a correction payroll, maybe you have a one-off bonus that you want to give. So the bonus needs to be a completely separate paycheck, whatever it might be, where you have to run something outside of your regular payrolls, you can run that here. And then separation payroll, obviously those don't always line up perfectly with a pay period. You have to do it right then and there. You can run your final paycheck here. And that has extra tools like, what am I supposed to include on a final paycheck? We'll give you all the guidelines there as well, based on your state's rules. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this payroll. This is going to automatically pull in all of those items that I showed you. So we can see their PTO, their total hours, paid holidays. Any of their timesheets are going to show up here. If they are eligible for overtime and went into overtime, that'll show up here. Any of their additional earnings. So that's going to be that bonuses that I mentioned. And then if they have reimbursements, they'll be here. So everything you need to know on what you are paying your employees is going to show up on this screen. I also want to highlight, you can see here that there's one that says review timesheets and one that says approve pending items. So this one is anything that has not been approved yet by you. So this one is specifically a payout. So it's going to alert you. So it's kind of your checks and balances. You don't want anything to be processed if it's pending approval. You want to make sure that it's actually approved and it looks good. So you can approve it directly from this payroll report. We'll notify you with that banner if anything is not approved. So we'll go ahead and approve that one. Okay, so now Cruella is good to go. I don't know if I didn't even mention our office name is the 102 Dalmatians because we already took 101. So you can see the theme with Pup Patch, Cruella. And then you can see here there's a review timesheets button here. This one isn't any errors, but you can see that Ryan worked 13 hours on 1 day. So this is really another catch-all just to make sure that if your employees accidentally forgot to clock out or something is inaccurate, if they're working more than 12 hours, we're going to flag it for you. We don't want you to accidentally overpay. So you'll get that alert. If she actually worked that day, then we're sorry, Ryan, that was a very long day. But we'll just keep that one as is. You will get notified about that. And then if you scroll down, we'll give you an overtime summary. So if you want to make sure that all the overtime looks good, there's nothing crazy happening there. That helps for overhead as well. And then payout summary. So it looks like they all got a quarterly bonus. So you can see how much they got for their bonus. And then if you scroll down, you can also get a breakdown for each individual employee. So if you wanted to see more about what patch works, you can see all that information here. You can see exactly what those timesheets are. It gives you all the information, just depending on how deep you want to go. So once that all looks good, oh, really quickly, I also want to mention it will give you the deadline here as well. So if you're paying for on June 6th, you have to run by June 4th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So it'll always give you your deadline as well. So if you're forgetting when I need to run by, that reminder is always updated for you. Okay, then we'll click continue. And this is where all of the magic happens, if you're asking me, because it has all of the tax calculations, your benefit calculations, so the contributions for both the employer and the employee. It has different charts on what the company is paying overall for their taxes. So it'll break down what your state taxes are, your federal taxes, all of that. Again, all of your taxes are gonna be filed by Gusto directly, so you don't have to worry about all of that. So here's where it'll give you a total. So you can see your total payroll, debit amount, what account it's coming out of, and on what day. You can see that the debit and total are different because we have one employee that is getting paid by check. So if you do have checks, we're gonna give you this review checks amount button, and it'll say, Corella, she's wants to be difficult apparently and wants to check. It shows you how much you need to write for Corella's check in-house, but everyone else is direct deposit. So if you put these drop downs down, you can see what the company pays. Again, high level summary of each of those items. The employees have hours worked. So here's a summary of their hours worked and their employee take home if you need to see exactly what's going into their take home pay. And then taxed and debited is a high level overview of all those taxes I mentioned, based on what's going for your employees, what's for your company, and then all of those different taxes based on the state that you're in. So again, it's nice. It's all here for you. You don't have to go to another system to figure out what's actually being debited from your account. You can see exactly what the taxes are going to be. You don't have to go check it anywhere else. And if everything looks good, I make sure that I have this much in my bank account before I click submit. We're going to go ahead and click submit. And voila, time to kick back. So it's as simple as that. Especially if you're a current HR for Health already using payroll reports, you already know how that side of it functions. This is just the extra piece where you can see all the post-tax information, click submit, then you can put your hands up and payroll will be processed. So you can tell I'm very excited about this because it's very exciting. Our goal, as Jill mentioned, is to make your lives as easy as possible. So we worked very hard to make this simple for you. So once I've run payroll, I can go to my payroll history section. I can go back in and view that report that we just saw if we wanted to. You can see your payroll receipts. So that gives you a breakdown of your tax liabilities, the employee tax liabilities, what your total debit amount is going to be. All of that information is included in the receipt. You can also, if you make a mistake and you're like, oh no, I overpaid someone, or oh no, I forgot to add something here, you can actually cancel it as long as it's before that deadline. So in that example, 2 days before at 4 p.m., you can cancel it up until that point. So if you cancel it, you can rerun and it's no problem. So you don't have to go and talk to your payroll provider on that. You can do it all within HR for Health, which is also very exciting. Something else I just want to go over from a high level is we also have some payroll reporting. So there's a 401k report and a payroll journal. You can generate those for whatever pay periods you want to. You can generate it for whatever time periods you want to as well. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a pay period. It could be 3 months, a month, whatever information you want to look at. So this will give you all of your deductions. So if you need to see a breakdown of 401k versus health insurance versus whatever other benefits you offer, you can do that 401k report. And then payroll journal, it just gives you the mass information for the payroll that you might need or you might need to send to your accountant. You can access those here. Okay, and then from the employee's perspective, so once payroll is processed, they're going to have pay stubs. So you can see here that the pay stubs, I just got paid on that payroll that we processed. It'll show them the check amount. They can view or download it. So if they just want to take a peek, they can look here. If they want to download it for their accountant or their taxes or whatever it might be, they can download that here as well. They will also get, this is going to be blank because we don't have taxes from the previous year or payrolls from the previous year yet, but their W-2s are going to be directly in HR for Health as well. So I know that that can be confusing for employees. Where do I go for my W-2? Are you going to mail it to me? Where is it? It'll be directly in HR for Health. They can access it. You don't have to worry about that there. So that's another huge part for the employee's perspective, pay stubs and W-2s all in one place. And then speaking of taxes, so we also have tax documents from the company level. So you'll be able to access your direct deposit authorization, that form 8655 that we talked about, but you'll also get all of your tax filing documents here. So that's going to automatically populate as soon as it's filed, and you can easily access them all in one place. Okay. That is what I wanted to show you guys today. So let's hop back over here. Okay. Oh, and this is all that I just showed you. So there you go. Seamless payroll processing in minutes. Instantly reflects time worked and time off. So everything that we added to HR for Health is going to automatically pull into that payroll report. And again, my personal favorite is that employees can manage everything on their own. So they don't have to go to you to ask for it. And it just makes it a lot easier for them as well. Okay, with all of that, let me kick it back to Kahan since he's talking to our current clients about this and what he's hearing.
What's up? Yeah, so this feature is so cool, and Jill mentioned earlier trauma. We have no payroll switching stress disorder. It's awesome. No PTSD. We're good. No trauma. It is so simple thanks to what Lauren and her team has built out. And I've been talking mainly to current clients who are currently using a third-party system, some other company, maybe a CPA, where they're taking their hours from HR for Health. Some of them haven't even been using HR for Health for their timekeeping quite yet because they felt like it was simpler before and they're starting to transition over. And what we're seeing is the amount of time it takes to pull over the information from HR for Health, the amount of times that they fat finger something and put an extra zero or an extra decimal or something like that, and the time it takes to go fix that, or the stress it takes to go fix a payroll if they've overpaid or underpaid an employee is it's crazy. And so our goal is to make that a lot easier for you, make it really, really simple. There's no manual entry, there's no risk of error. Everything is compliance focused. Lauren didn't touch on this, but there's things like contractor payrolls to make it very, very easy for you. Correction payrolls. There's a final paycheck feature. So when you're running a final paycheck or a temp, it just makes it really, really easy for you to pay your team for a final paycheck. It prompts you to fill out termination paperwork, to pay out PTO if applicable, things like that. Just makes it really, really easy for you. Our team has just really thought through, done a lot of alpha, beta, pilot testing to make sure that what we've built out fits you and your practice for someone who's healthcare specific, not having to go into multiple portals, and just making sure everything's really, really easy for you. And those of you who have CPAs who either run payroll for you or you send a PDF to your CPA, we make it easy rather than having to chase your CPA down for, like Lauren mentioned, tax documents or reports or things like that. That's all right within HR for Health. Your employees don't need to chase you down. They can go right on HR for Health, make those adjustments. They can see their deductions easily and those breakdowns. I know, for me, if I change my taxes or things like that, get married, having more kids, all that kind of stuff, we don't need to do that. It's all right in the system, as she mentioned. And we just make sure that there's a lot of visibility for you, for your employees, to make it easy. And so all that stuff is set up, especially being healthcare specific. We make sure that the payouts are set up in HR for Health. So any kind of bonuses, reimbursements, paying out PTO, all that kind of stuff is set up. We have multiple different ways we can create that for you. And our team will actually customize all that to make sure that when you're getting set up, it's easy for you. You're not having to build that out. You just choose it, assign it, send it to your team, and you're done. It's that simple. So that stuff's done, as well as Lauren mentioned tax stuff. We've had some clients who have asked about well, right now I really rely on my current payroll provider for tax help. Our team will help you with that. Gusto has a massive tax team as well. So we have kind of Fort Knox at our fingertips to help you. And if needed, they'll be a resource as well. So there's compliance, there's simplicity. Our support team is massively on top of it. We have a dedicated payroll team as well to assist you. And the system's just very, very reliable. That's why we chose to partner with Gusto. We've had different payroll partners in the past, and not only are they credible, reliable, their software is fantastic. They have a lot of API integrations that we're able to use, and it's allowing us to build a better and better product month after month to make sure that it continues to hit trends, integrations, things like that to make sure that it's great for you guys. So we got it set up, we got it lined up, and the onboarding side is really, really simple too. Like Lauren mentioned, it only takes a couple of minutes. Most of the clients that I'm helping get up and running, we block out 30 minutes for them and our payroll team to get them set up. It doesn't even take that long, and they're up and running within a week, and they're able to process their payroll on Gusto through HR for Health on hrforhealth.com, and they're good to go. So
Love it.
pretty simple.
We love simple. All right. Now what? What's next? So it's really exciting because this is just the beginning. We have so many things that we want to do next or that we are doing next. So this is just a little sneak peek for you guys. So the first one is 401k, as Jill hinted at in the beginning. People are wanting everything in one system. So 401k, health insurance, everything in one place, so you don't have to manage all these different logins. So we are working on a 401k integration with Guideline. So we are hoping to get that going. Health insurance we're scoping as well. So being able to integrate with the health insurance platform and having everything go back directly into your HR for Health account. We're also looking at additional financial benefits, so different accounting softwares, making sure that we have those integrations, making your life easier and your accountants' lives easier, which I'm sure also makes your life easier when they are not asking you these questions. So there's a lot of exciting things coming down the pipeline, and this is just the beginning of what we're wanting to do. So we're very excited.
Yeah. So just to summarize some of the stuff we've talked about, it's one extra click to run payroll after running those hours. For those of you who are not yet using HR for Health for timekeeping, for time off tracking, things like that, we'll help you get up and running with it. Our team will build it out. They'll set you up. They'll make it very, very simple. For those of you who are, it is literally just one extra click. You see everything right there. Of course, HR for Health allows you to manage all the hours, the time off, the paid holidays, the benefits, the deductions, the bonuses, all that stuff. Your team can see more, you can see more, just makes it simple. So what's next is, looking at what does it look like for you? Obviously, every practice is different. Everyone has unique situations. So we'll make sure either myself or one of our sales reps will walk you through and explain exactly how it looks for you, answer your questions. Pricing obviously is always a huge question. We've made sure to make the pricing very, very competitive. And I just talked to someone yesterday where they're saving, I think it was about $45 per pay period, just running payroll with HR for Health because we have a flat monthly rate, and they were running payroll weekly, which is great. And then of course the setup is super simple. So if you're a current HR for Health payroll customer, the migration is very, very easy. We have all of your information already. We're going to help you transition. We have a dedicated team to do that for you, and we've made sure that it's a smooth transition. If you're using Gusto, like Jill mentioned, we have a special API integration to make sure that we can pull all your information over from Gusto. It's even easier than if you use our payroll, just a couple clicks and you're good to go. We actually already have a massive queue of people who are waiting. So we encourage you guys to reach out sooner than later so we can get you in the queue and get you guys moved over and make sure that it's in the timeline that you're expecting. And then if you have yet to utilize HR for Health's payroll, I'm going to help you out personally. I'm going to help you guys take care of the transition, get you plugged in with our team, make sure that all your questions are answered, and make sure that you're comfortable. Because again, we don't want any PTSD. We want to make sure you guys have a great transition, and that it's really, really simple. And so to make that even easier, we're going to have a QR code to book time with us. And just to sweeten the deal, we're going to make sure we give you a 3-month free promotion for anyone who's on this webinar to make sure that the transition is extra easy and to help you guys get transitioned over. Oh, another slide. Great. Okay, let me read some quotes here. In fact, I was talking to Lauren about this a few days ago. We had a client run payroll within 3 minutes from start to finish, totally done in 3 minutes. Lauren and I both have little babies that are around 3 and 1 year old. And whenever I'm going downstairs, he goes, "Daddy, no work." And so I think it's kind of cool as you guys are running payroll, spend more time with your team, more time with your family, more time doing what you want to do, less time doing what you don't want to do. You see this quote here from Aaron Warner. It's so easy. You can do it from an iPad, 40,000 feet in the air, that anyone can do it. That's really what we built this out for, so that it can be the easiest thing possible, the quickest thing possible, that payroll is no longer something you dread, but it's something that you look forward to completing because you can move on to the next thing in your day. And there's that QR code. Here we are. So you can throw that phone up. I think you can click it. There's a link there as well. You can email HR for Health. If you are a current HR for Health client, when you pop into Run Payroll, there'll be a little pop up there as well to make it very, very easy for you to book just right when you're running payroll, nothing additional. That'll book time directly on my calendar. And again, if you're not an HR for Health customer yet, then our team will make sure to help you out with that and explain how you can take advantage of everything HR for Health has, make yourself more compliant, make things more streamlined, and take advantage of the tech that we're putting out for you guys.
Awesome. Great work, everyone on the call today. And now I want to hand it back over to the audience and ask you all if you have any questions about anything that we have discussed today. You can type them in and we are going to answer them live. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first one that we received, which was, will we eventually have to switch over from Assure, or will we always have the option of the two?
Great question. The answer is a little bit nuanced. Look, we see a lot of value in having you guys switch because of what Lauren has talked about and what Kayhan has talked about in terms of being able to have your employees like self-service, be able to access their payroll documents, be able to update their direct deposit, be able to update their withholdings, like, and take that administrative burden off of you. But at this time, we're not forcing anybody to make any decisions because this is a newer product. So at this time, you do still have both options. If you're an Assure client, though, I would highly recommend at least just schedule a call with our team and just explore how it would look different for you and talk through with us, this is a feature I really like. Is that something I'm still going to have access to? So that we can really together make the best decision on what's available. So.
Okay. What if they're using another payroll provider like ADP? Would that be hard for them to switch over?
Yeah, I can answer that one. Very, very simple, not hard at all. ADP has all of your year-to-date data, so we'll help you guys move that over. And then the transition process is really simple. We'll just grab you mid-payroll period. We'll swap things over. We'll start running payroll through HR for Health and Gusto, and then we'll upload that year-end data up to HR for Health, and the transition's done. So we'll take care of your monthly filings, your quarterly filings, and your yearly filings instead of your previous provider. And then we'll also take over all the W-2s and your 1099s, things like that. So your team doesn't get multiple from different companies. It'll all come from us. And we'll make sure that we have dedicated team members to help you transition over.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that if you are not using the HR for Health timekeeping and time off pieces, that's probably the biggest shift for your team, but in a positive way where it gives them more visibility and access and accuracy. If you guys are not aware, the way that we even set up paid time off tracking is based directly on the policies you have in your handbook, because most of the time when we start working with a client, we find that they have something in writing and they're tracking something completely different, or they're not tracking things, or they're in different systems. And so that's probably, I guess, the biggest learning curve, but really there isn't a learning curve there because we make it really, really easy for the team by walking them through the software, like self-service. We also, of course, have our team if they have questions on how to use it. But that probably would be the biggest shift. I think getting the tax information over is pretty painless. So either way, very easy to do.
And does this new payroll product handle multi-state payroll if they have employees in different locations?
Yes, so that's coming up soon. You'll be able to run for multiple states, make sure that all your taxes are handled properly. And if you have remote employees or just one random employee in another state, that can all be handled as well. Make sure the taxes are good.
Awesome. And I don't see any other questions in the chat. Is there anything else that the three of you want to leave people off with before we sign off for today?
It looks like there was a question from somebody who is already on Gusto and HR for Health and an HR for Health client, so gusto.com and HR for Health. Will it be less expensive if bundled together? Will it be the same price as how much HR for Health was charging with the old payroll system? Okay, Hon, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, good question. It really depends on what you have set up with Gusto. It depends what kind of payroll you're running, if it's weekly, biweekly, bi-monthly. I'd say the best thing to do is book some time with me. We can kind of walk through it together. What we find is normally it's either we save you a little bit of money or it's very, very razor thin, and it's a pretty easy comparison. But what we found is even if it's an extra $10 or $15 per month to run payroll, the time savings you have, the amount of errors that you're eliminating by having everything on one system pays off dramatically. And then it's a lot easier for your team as well. So I haven't found one person that doesn't think it's worth it, which is pretty great. And again, we have that 3-month free promo. So at least for the first 12 months, we'll make sure that it's very comparable no matter what.
And
Yeah.
I know we've already, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Lauren.
I was going to say, I know we've already touched on this, but just for this specific one, if you are Augusta.com, you get to skip all that onboarding that I showed. So even if it's simple, you don't even have to touch it. You can check to make sure it looks good, but you don't have to do your company onboarding. Your employees don't have to onboard. All of the previous payroll information is going to already be there, tax documents. So there's no setup. You just have to authorize HR for Health, and then you're ready to run payroll.
And I do get this question a lot with when we talk with other clients that are using, whether it's Gusto or other payroll companies. We do not price our payroll per pay run, which is definitely different from what you might see on if you are using a different payroll company. You're getting charged each time you run, like whether it's a final paycheck or a one-off. Ours is flat rate per month. So a lot of times we'll give a quote and it's like, oh, that looks good. That's per payroll. And we're like, no, this is like flat rate per month. So like Kayhan said, if you have questions on that, so we can do, like a unique analysis for you, please reach out to us and we can walk through that. The other thing I do want to say before we wrap up is if you're not subscribed to like our newsletters, or obviously you guys heard about this webinar, so you are getting communication from us. But as we roll out new features, new offerings, like these things with 401k and health insurance that we're talking about in these builds, we are going to be notifying you. That's Taylor Danko's bread and butter. That's all she's focused on every day is how do I translate what we're working on from a product perspective to make sure the market knows and can take advantage of it. So just pay attention to those newsletters and blogs and things like that that we're pushing out. We're doing everything possible, like from a mass perspective of making sure you're in the loop with knowing where we're at with this product phase. So we just want to make sure you're aware of that without having to have it be too difficult. So just keep your eyes peeled as we roll more stuff out.
I'm so excited. This is an awesome launch, and thank you everyone for going through the demo with us, for asking us questions. And if you felt too nervous, or maybe you're going to think of a question after this webinar is over, we're going to send you an email that includes a recording of this session today. It's also going to have the slide deck and any other relevant links. And when you get that email, you can actually just directly respond to it. We do open our emails. We check them, we read them, and we will respond to you with anything that you have. If for any reason you're feeling uncomfortable, or if you're like me, I black out. I'll think of the question when I'm like half asleep tonight. So you can send it in whenever it works best for you. And we are more than willing to help you navigate any questions that you have with payroll. We want you to feel comfortable working through this with us, and we're excited. I see so many of you booking calls. So this is really awesome, and I can't wait to meet more of you. And with that, thank you, Lauren, Jill, and Kayhan for doing this today, and I hope to see you all again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Happy Friday.